Okay, we're gonna give it 1 second here. Wait for the thing to fire up. It's not showing up yet. Let's see. I'm just making sure it's loading on my end. I'm gonna try and watch it from my channel. Trying to make sure it's live. Hello, Josh. Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the call tonight. For whatever reason, I'm not seeing this YouTube live off of my own phone, but it seems like there's people in here. So, we're gonna get started. Good evening, everyone. It is 11:02 p.m. on April 4th, 2023, and we are going to go over some of the severe weather outlooks for tomorrow, look over some of the models, highlight the risks, and we'll address some questions that were brought up to me today over the course of the day. I reached out to some people I put out a broad message on my Snapchat asking for some questions, and I got a couple. So I'll go over those, and then in YouTube, I guess you could put in the comments if you have any questions. Let me know. I'm going to try and switch back and forth between the tabs. I was trying to open up my phone so I could look at the comments on there, but it looks like I can't see it on my phone, so I can't watch the live on my phone, unfortunately. So I'm going to do my best to go back and forth on some of the comments from later, but I will address those at the end of the broadcast. But first of all, we're going to go over to the radar currently in Michigan. Um, Earlier tonight, if you were watching the live stream earlier tonight, we had a storm over here. It's now all the way over to Flint. It's still alive. That storm produced some hail up to 2, even 3 inches in diameter over here in the Caledonia, Middleville, Freeport area, all the way over to Lake Odessa. And then it started finally losing strength as it passed Lansing. And as you can see, there's not much left of it right now. There may still be some heavy rain entering Flint, maybe some pea-sized hail in there if you live in Flint and are watching right now. Other than that, it looks pretty clear. There's some storms trying to fire up near Mason Lake, Manistee County area, and these will be moving off to the north, generally speaking, maybe sliding a little bit east as we go on throughout the night. But yeah, looking pretty clear right now. Down by the border, we have a couple thunderstorms, but they are mainly over the lake. Those will continue to come into our area overnight. The main hazard for overnight right now is some small hail, as we had earlier. No tornadoes expected tonight, but again, we can't rule out the hail possibility as you guys go to bed tonight. Just have a way to receive warnings as the night goes on. Just the sirens will not count, as I like to tell people. But yeah, that's the current radar right now. Pretty clear across West Michigan, Eastern Michigan, other than that storm over by Flint. That's the remnants of the hail producer earlier. We are going to look now at the uh, convective outlook for tomorrow. And as you can see right now, it's a broad enhanced risk, which is level 3 of 5 on the severe weather scale. Um, so it's pretty high up there for this time of the year, I would say. We haven't had a enhanced risk yet this year, except for Friday, but it was just down by the border, and we know how that turned out. We had a couple of tornadoes down just south of the border in Indiana that the National Weather Service in northern Indiana actually went out and surveyed. Fortunately, I didn't get that far when I storm chased on Friday. Didn't see anything, but tomorrow we might get some action. Looking at the risks, this is a little concerning. Not terribly concerning though, looking at some of the previous mile runs, but it's still something we need to highlight. There's a 10% chance catch risk for tornadoes tomorrow in Michigan, northern Indiana, northern Ohio, parts of Illinois, mainly in the morning for Illinois. The risk will move from west to east as the day goes on. And the hatched risk area for tornadoes is for strong tornadoes. So if you see this little black outline here, let me just make sure it's okay, good. We are on the web page. The outline here is the hatched area where it has little dash lines through it. So pretty much all of lower Michigan is in it, with the exception of some of the counties by the Mackinac Bridge. They're in the 5% range. Still, you could get tornadoes there that are equal to or greater than strength in the 10% zone. So you want to keep your weather apps, your sirens, everything that you need to keep yourself safe and alert throughout the day. You want to keep them on you if you live anywhere in the lower peninsula of Michigan, maybe even parts of the upper peninsula if you're just north of the bridge. Elsewhere, 5% risk is stretching all the way down to Ohio, Kentucky, Tennessee, the boot of Missouri, and even northern Arkansas. So, yeah, tornado risk is one of the highlighting factors for tomorrow. Any tornadoes that do get going could be strong, EF2 or greater. That's what I mean by a strong tornado. And that's anywhere within a 25-mile point. So if you put down like a point, say you live in Lansing, anywhere within 25 miles of you, you have the chance of seeing a single EF2 or greater tornado tomorrow. And the chances of that happening are 10%. So they're not 100%, but they are 10%. So it's something you want to monitor. The scale new is up to 60, so having a 10% is a little significant. And we're going to look at the tornado risk or the wind risk, my bad. This was just upgraded midday today. We were under a 15% chance of damaging winds. Now we're in a 30 because it looks like the line, it's supposed to be more of a line that'll come through in the morning and then maybe in the afternoon too. These storms may not be discrete anymore. So you could have a strong line of winds come through. And so that's why the Storm Prediction Center went ahead and addressed a 30 or added a 30% chance of damaging winds tomorrow within a 25-mile point. There's no hatched, so we're not looking at wind gusts 60 knots, 65 knots or higher, although that could still happen. So you want to make sure to take those severe thunderstorm warnings seriously if we do get any tomorrow. It won't just be tornado warnings, it could be severe thunderstorm warnings. Grand Rapids loves to address that, and yeah, I guess we will see. Hail, however, there is a hatched risk zone. So any um, storms that produced hail will have the chance of producing 2-inch or diameter hail like we saw tonight. This is mainly for our lower peninsula of Michigan and northern Indiana and parts of eastern Illinois. Um, Elsewhere, there'll be a 15% chance for damaging hail within 25 miles of a point, and that's mainly for Traverse City, Presque Isle County, and up towards Sheboygan or Charlevoix, sorry, up by the bridge. So anywhere can get hail tomorrow, anywhere can get wind tomorrow, anywhere can get tornadoes tomorrow, and it's just a matter of how things will go in the morning and how they will transition into afternoon. So that's it for the risks as of right now. Now we're going to look at some of the model runs that we've been being fed all night and all day, and I guess for the past 3 days. So we're actually going to start with the HRRR run here. And we're just going to go and look at our simulated reflectivity run for tomorrow. Earlier, so here's what it looks like right now. We have some storms coming through around, it's going to form into a line around 12Z. According to HRR, 3 Rs, it'll form into a linear line around 8 a.m., cover most of the central part of the state, some of the western. It'll be already passed through the northern path of the lower peninsula by 14Z, which is 10 a.m. Sorry, I'm a little rusty. Um, this was not modeled in the past. It is now modeled now. So what this could be signifying is a weakening trend because we need the atmosphere to rebound if you want anything forming in the afternoon. Correct me if I'm wrong. But this little line right here that comes through around 4 p.m. is the stuff that's supposed to be the most severe. As you can see there, it's very thin and it looks like it's not even that great anymore, but you don't want to take your guard off because other models are actually are saying different things. So if we look at the NAM NST model, you can see this little line right here at the same time around 5 p.m. tomorrow night. Will could be producing, I won't say will, could be producing, you know, a bunch of supercells within a embedded line. You can see the little hook features on all of them. That's something to be watching out for is that second line. First line could be a dampening, I can't even speak right now, a dampening effect on the atmosphere. If it moves out quickly, it will, I'm trying to say this correctly, it will fire up storms for the afternoon if there's enough clearing. So it all depends on what the morning action does. And if it clears out quickly, like it looks like it wants to do in the NAM NST model, then we could be in trouble for the afternoon. And that threat will be moving off towards the thumb by 8 or 9 p.m. It looks like I just got a notification for a special marine warning in Charlevoix, I think it is. Let's go look at it real quick. Point Betsy, Michigan. Yeah, Sheboygan's up there. Charlevoix's over here. So that's the storm right here. There's a special marine warning out for right now. So this could, yep, there's the blue box. This could move on shore. Probably won't. If you do live on the islands and you're watching right now, I would take heed to the warning. There is some large hail in this storm, and this warning is in effect until midnight tonight. So, back to our model runs here. Really need dual monitor because this is a little tough. Going back to our model runs, there is one more I want to look at. We'll just look at the normal NAM, although it does not really show convection well because it's very broad. I'll actually go back to the NAM NST and take a look at some of the soundings for the area. We'll go to the supercell composite, which is just a combination of a bunch of factors that go into making a supercell. It basically just gives us a number from like 1 to, 36 or something like that. So if I hover my mouse over an area, it should say, so like for example, this orange right here would be like a 5 for a supercell composite rating. So this is the 4 p.m. stuff, and we'll go look at just north of Big Rapids on a sounding for tomorrow. You gotta let it load for a second. Now, as a meteorology student, I'm still learning a lot of this stuff right now at Central Michigan, so bear with me here. I do know a general gist of what this represents. Obviously, the main thing here is this is a slice of the atmosphere if you're looking straight up or straight down. And with height, the pink is the lowest of the ground, red is the highest, and this is the wind as you go up. So as you can see, this is a wind that's 15 knots going to the north at the surface, and then as you get up, that wind kind of turns, and then you're looking at 55 knots by the time you get up. Oh, let's see, 3 kilometers up. So that's, get some good shear in there. And you can see that in this little number right down here between 0 and 3 kilometers. There's 55 knots of shear, like I said. So that's not bad at all if you want to produce a tornado tomorrow. We kind of generally ignore this. This is kind of just a broad, thing. Given everything, every single number here, this is what the most likely thing is to happen in a storm that will travel through this area. But besides this, this is a slice if you're looking sideways across the atmosphere. So this is the surface down here. And then you have 1 kilometer, 3 kilometers up, 6 kilometers up, 9 kilometers up, 12 kilometers up. And then you see it goes to the tropical pause is where the temperatures even out and go to the right. So at the surface, you'll have temperatures pretty warm tomorrow. If we don't get any storms, I will say this, it is going to be a really nice day. So temperatures near 70 degrees tomorrow. Some places could get up to 75, especially south down towards the border. And dew points are going to be in the mid 60s, which will make it uh, pretty, pretty humid. I feel like summer out there for July or for August. Wow, I cannot speak. April 4th. But you can see a lot of close temperatures at the surface, so the dews and the temperatures will be pretty close, meaning probably precipitation will be going on at the time. And we have an inversion up here, which is represented by this little dew point going all the way over to the left and getting really cold before becoming really warm. Um, this dashed blue line right here, any zone between that dashed blue line and the temperature line, this red line here, that's all CAPE, and that is calculated down here. The mixed layer CAPE is 1511 for tomorrow. So what that's saying is there's a lot of instability that's going to be occurring tomorrow. And generally anything over 1,000 for CAPE will convect pretty well. We don't need anything too impressive, honestly. 1,500 is right in the threshold. Sometimes you see some of the strongest tornadoes with 1,500s. You don't even need like 8,000, for example, like you see in the summer in the high plains. You could use 2,000, 1,500, even 1,000. So 1,500 Cape for tomorrow, which is like instability or juice, as some people like to call it itself. Um, Looking pretty good. It's pretty healthy storm. Lapse rate is 7. You can see right here in the cylinder screen is 7. Anything, 7 or higher is sufficient for developing some storms tomorrow. I'm just learning about it in thermodynamics, so I'm still not completely I still don't completely understand what it does. However, I do know that the number 7 or higher is will suffice for storm development. So that's looking pretty good. Our ceiling tomorrow, our LCL height for storms is less than half a kilometer up. So with low cloud bases, that's pretty good for quick development. Um, Another factor that also can hinder storms is sin H, which is like a cap on the atmosphere. Some of you guys may have heard of that before. Cap is like a lid you put in the atmosphere, and storms can't get past that lid until something gives. Something's got to break that cap. And right now, that cap is none, so it's zero. It's represented by a zero here. If you saw like -5, -10, -20, that means there's a moderately heavy, I guess you could say, cap on the atmosphere that'll prevent storms from firing up above, maybe 1,000 feet. So you have these cumulus clouds that'll go up, maybe form some rain showers, but they can't get up into the tropopause because there's a lid on the atmosphere. So with no cap, storms can just fire up and keep going and gain strength, and we'll be out there chasing them. So that's what we look for when we're storm chasing. We do not like to see a lid. However, if we have like a weak lid or maybe a moderately strong lid and all of a sudden it just snaps like that, that can also be good because storms will just fire up really quickly and then it can get really severe really quick. So yeah, no cap. Our 3 cape is at 182. Anything over 100 is pretty good. So that's, sufficient for tomorrow. And then our shear from surface to 6 kilometers up is 74 knots, which you can kind of see here as you keep going up, it just keeps getting windier and windier. And also you can kind of this is also represented by the wind barbs right up the center of the screen. That's like 5, 10 miles per hour, 10 knots down at the surface, all the way up to, you have the double triangles, which is like 100 knots. So it actually is. So, not too bad. A lot of shear, a lot of instability for tomorrow. No cap. If the morning stuff um, just lingers on throughout the entire morning, maybe in the early afternoon, we may not see much after 3 p.m. tomorrow for the entire state. If you're in southeast Michigan, maybe eastern Michigan over towards the thumb, you could see some stuff by 3 to 5 p.m. But if we have this entire squall line that sits through the state between, 6 a.m. to noon, that's really going to take a lot of the moisture out of the atmosphere, damper some things, and it's going to keep cloud cover. We won't have solar radiation, so we won't have any way to kind of keep the instability going. So our instability will go down, probably below 1,000. And if you don't have any instability, then storms can't fire. So we really, if you're looking for storms tomorrow, you don't want precipitation. You don't want too much precipitation in the morning. Not saying that precipitation in the morning is a bad thing, but we don't want it to stick around for too long. We want it to clear out as quick as possible if we want storms tomorrow. But if you really don't want storms tomorrow, then you want the precipitation to stay around for a while, and we won't have much to chase, which is fine because we don't want any loss of life. Nothing of that matter. This is one of the highest tornado risks in about a decade for Michigan that's been 10% hatched. Last time was back in, I believe, 2013, the day Washington, Illinois got hit, and we were actually under a 15% hatched risk that day. we didn't get many tornadoes. I think we got maybe one in southwest lower Michigan. So this is the first time we had a 10% hatched risk in 10 years. So it's been a decade. So you do not want to take this lightly tomorrow for sure. Definitely have more than one way to get warnings. So that's enough of the sounding. I think at this point we will get into the question part of the night. Had four questions brought up to me earlier. Let's flip over to this just to kind of look at it. So again, 10% hatched tornado risk, 30% wind risk, 30% hatched hail risk. The questions that were brought up to me were the number one was kind of funny. Will it rain frogs? No, it will not rain frogs. The only time it'll rain frogs is if you have a tornado and it, goes over a pond and the frogs are out for whatever reason. Although frogs are coming out. I'm here in Mount Pleasant. I have been hearing the spring peepers, as people like to call them, over in our pond across the apartment complex. So frogs are out. Could rain frogs, but that signifies something a lot stronger than, the condensing of frogs. So yeah, it won't rain frogs unless there's a tornado. So there's your answer. Timing for tomorrow was another huge one that was brought up to me. Timing for tomorrow, it's varying right now based by model run. We could be done by maybe 2, 3 p.m. in the afternoon according to, the HRRR model. But like you have the NAM NST model. Those say, they won't be done until 8 o'clock at night all the way over in eastern Michigan. So I will say this right now for timing. You could have some strong storms along that squall line anywhere between 7 to noon tomorrow, 7 a.m. to noon tomorrow. So that'll be your initial period of time where you'll have some storms coming through along the line. Those won't be your tornado producers, most likely. I cannot rule it out, but I will say this, that it's not the strongest part of this system. We will have to watch for development after that line moves out, if it does move out, and allows for clearing behind it. That time frame will be anywhere probably post 1 p.m. So 1 p.m. to let's say 4 or 5 p.m. tomorrow. That's anywhere probably west of US 127. Yeah, we'll say that 127, 1 to 5 p.m. Probably that's your time frame. Maybe even 1 to 4 p.m. It depends on how fast it goes through. Anytime past 4 p.m. To the dinner hours, that'll be eastern side of the state, Midland, Tri Cities area, Alpena, Detroit, especially 4 to 7 p.m. And then all our action will be done here. I would say no later than 9 p.m. tomorrow night. That's just like the thumb area. If you're over in Grand Rapids, Howland, you'll be done probably by dinner time, probably 5 p.m., 4 p.m. even. So that's your timing for tomorrow. Um, no guarantees. Obviously, this is just briefing right now. We're kind of just going through what we know. So take into effect, things can change. This is not a guarantee. This is just a forecast. So, question that was brought up to me also was what other threats are there besides tornadoes? And I did say hail and the damaging wind threat. Flooding will probably be not as much of a concern unless you have that squall line that's training over the same area. Then we could see some localized flooding anywhere across the lower peninsula of Michigan, honestly. So main threats, they're kind of all equal right now. I would say besides tornadoes, hail, damaging winds, even lightning. I guess you could throw that in there. So they're kind of all equal. I will say the main threat though was probably going to be the hail. And the final question that was brought up to me are what will be the hail sizes for tomorrow? And as you saw in that hatched area, we could see hail maybe 2 to 3 inches in diameter. And if the atmosphere is more potent tomorrow, we could see hail sizes maybe even greater than that. But again, no guarantees. But right now, the Storm Prediction Center is saying we have a really good shot at seeing 2-inch hailstones again tomorrow. So if you work at a dealership, I would be covering up your cars, or at least finding some way to protect them if you haven't tonight, because tonight was kind of a precursor to tomorrow, that one storm. So cover up your cars if you work at a dealership. Um, yeah, I think that's about it for my questions. I'm gonna go flip over to YouTube real quick, make sure I didn't miss anything. Um, Josh said on YouTube that or asked, what will the Saginaw Bay region be a good place to set up, or should I go more into the thumb? Um, I would say Saginaw's a pretty good place to set up, maybe even a little bit south. I would say keep your options open for tomorrow. I would even stick me, like I said, maybe south towards Birch Run. That's a good open area. You want to kind of stay away from the metropolitan area if you are storm chasing tomorrow. Um, yeah, just Saginaw. It's all right. It's a good middle ground spot. Like I'm probably gonna stay in Mount Pleasant for a little bit, maybe kind of see if the swell line's already started. I don't know where I'm gonna go, honestly. I might just, book it east as quick as I can. Um, yeah. Brandon says, "What's the outlook for Kalamazoo area? What time is looking to be the most eventful?" The outlook for Kalamazoo. I'm actually gonna go into my folder. Gonna zoom in. Actually, no, I'll go to Pivotal. Nope, that's not it. For pass SBC day 2. So we'll go to tornado first, and then we'll zoom in. So pretty much the entire Lower Peninsula, Kalamazoo's right here. It's like a lot of other places, is in the 10% hatch risk area. So they're kind of right in the bullseye area for tornadic development tomorrow, if there is any. Again, big if. Gotta remember that because Michigan events are very very wild and very unpredictable because you never know what's going to happen. You could have days where it's 2% tornado risk and you have or 5% tornado risk and you have an EF3 like what happened to Gaylord last year. Or you could have 10% hatch risk tomorrow. Everything lines up perfectly, and then also you have a squall line come through and ruin it all. So again, you still don't want to take this lightly. I would say the 10% hatch risk tomorrow is enough of a little preparation period to get yourself ready for it. Um, over to the hail. 30% hatch risk for hail for Kalamazoo, and then also a 30% chance of damaging winds. And this is anywhere, if you weren't on earlier, this is anywhere within a 25 miles of a point. So anywhere within 25 miles of Kalamazoo, you have a 10% chance, 10% hatch chance of seeing a tornado. That's maybe even EF2 or greater in strength. 30% chance of damaging winds, and a 30% chance hatched risk of hail 2 inches or more in diameter. So that's for Kalamazoo for tomorrow. Um, Timing for tomorrow, if that squall line comes through, it'll probably be into Kalamazoo around 9 a.m. and it could clear out by 1 p.m. Again, it depends on how long the squall line sticks around, if there is even a squall line. It could be completely clear tomorrow morning, and that will bode well for supercell development in the afternoon post 1 p.m. So I'd say keep your weather radio, your alerts handy by or between 8 a.m. to maybe 5 p.m. tomorrow. And after 5 p.m., whenever the front comes through, you should be out of the clear or in the clear. And then you can go back to being, not as alert for the rest of the day. So Kalamazoo is definitely in the risk for tomorrow. Again, keep yourself well aware. So, any other questions? Yeah, no problem. Should I give a minute to see if there is any questions? I'm actually going to flip over to. So the COD website doesn't have all the model runs, so Pivotal sometimes has more. So we'll go over to the FV3, which has been a model that's kind of nailed to the event today over in Iowa and Illinois. So we'll look at it here. Again, here's the temperatures for tomorrow. Ooh boy, 70 degrees. It will feel nice. But that is not what we're here for. We're here for the storms. And we'll just look at the supercell composite again, since I feel like it's the best way to gauge what's going to happen. Wow, that's not good. There is not much happening for supercell composite. Not good as in not good for storm chasing. Good if you don't want storms. So anything in blue is 5 or higher. And I don't see much blue except for uh, east of Lansing. There's a 6 there for tomorrow. Let's kind of pinpoint that. Um, Mixed layer Cape 838, not the greatest. Three Capes 97, not bad. 62 knots of 0 to 3 kilometer shears, pretty good. Same with 66 between 0 and 6 kilometers. Um, this profile is not really, it's just very windy. Yeah. That's not like your classic C. If you want a tornado tomorrow, you got to see like a classic C because that means there's turning in height. So if you look at these wind bars right at the center of the screen, that means this wind is going to the north northeast, and then as you get up, it's going, northeast. If you want to see tornadoes tomorrow, you want to see like a wind that's coming out of the south, going straight north at the surface, and then veering, almost due east as you get up here into the 6 kilometer region of the atmosphere. And we don't see that on this model of the FV3 model. And this is at, what time is this? That's 5 p.m. tomorrow over by Lansing. So, not too exciting. I'm curious to see what the reflectivity looks like. See if it also has a squall line in the morning. That's interesting. That has a lot of storms coming through tonight. That just has the squall line further north up towards me here in Mount Pleasant. That's not as bad. The FV3 is not as bad as a run. So you can see these little storms here. These are all little prefrontal storms. If these can stay alone and by themselves, these positionings are not exact. Like this could be, 30 miles east, 30 miles west, 30 miles north, something like that. If these can stay, like this is the perfect example. Like look at this storm right here, right in the middle of Berry County, which is the forest, and I like to say is a very bad place to go storm chasing because of all the trees. But if you're, for example, look at this storm right here, that's all by itself out in the middle of nowhere. The timing is a little early. I would like to see it maybe a little bit later because that means more instability, more time for things to heat up, more clearing. That's not a bad look. Again, that's just estimate of what's going to happen. But if we can get those prefrontal cells fire up, and even this isn't even that bad, like later in the day. So this is 5 p.m. So that's over Lansing again. Honestly, not a bad look off the FV3. A lot of kind of rogue storms kind of doing their own thing. There's not much of a squall line here. There is a squall line, and that's the stuff that was out in Iowa. That's gonna move north and hopefully clear. 8 a.m. a little concerning for portions in north. If you want to see a tornado, you probably won't see a tornado off this model. Again, don't count out your chickens, as some people like to say. Don't count your chickens before they hatch. That's what I meant to say. Um, this doesn't mean it's going to be, zero tornadoes tomorrow to the north, because, could be could be quite the opposite. It could be everything happens north, nothing happens south. Just depends on where the best atmospheric thermodynamic setups are at. So, yeah, I like these. I like the look of this for discrete storms. Not good if you don't want tornadoes. We'll have to keep an eye on this for sure. But yeah, FB3 seems to be on board with supercells tomorrow. Depends on what. I'm curious to see what the SBC goes with tonight because right now, again, it's 10% hatched. I wonder if they're gonna just kind of maintain it at where it's at until the morning. I believe that's probably what they're gonna do. They're gonna keep the 10% hatched, if I had to guess, and then in the morning they'll when their next D1 update happens. So they'll have one that's coming at 2 a.m. tonight. So if you want to stay up until 2 a.m., it's 2.5 hours from now. They'll have the day one update come out, and they'll show us the new updated risk zones for tornadoes, hail, wind, and then they'll have one again at I think it's 13Z, so that's going to be 9. I think it's 9 a.m. So they'll have one at 9 a.m. and then at 16:30Z, which is just after lunch. So that's about 12:30. So they'll have updates at 2 a.m. tonight, 9 a.m. in the morning, and then 12:30 p.m. in the afternoon. I'm sure the 9 a.m. update will be the most important to see how the rest of the day goes because you'll see at this point what's happening in the morning. All that morning junk, if it's going to be there or if it's not going to be there. So that's, I imagine, what they're going to do right now. They've kind of been conservative as of recently. They like to kind of keep day 2 into day 1 the same, And then they kind of gauge in the morning what the atmosphere is looking like, and then they kind of upgrade from there or downgrade from there. So we will see. I think there's another model I want to look at real quick before I go back and look at any questions that need to be answered. We'll look at the NAM 3K. I heard that one was probably another good run. So this is different from the NST. Um, so let's see, 12Z, that's 8 a.m., 9 a.m., 10 a.m., 11 a.m., 12 p.m. Clearing, clearing, clearing. Not terrible. Ooh, yeah, that's not bad at all. So you can kind of see the hooks within all these little storms here. That's not bad for developing supercells. I would like to see it more maybe like spread out and not in a line. Although, in a line it could be just as bad. So a lot of hypotheticals here. Um, so it looks like generally the NAM 3K is on board. I'm curious to see if there's any soundings here. That's highly contaminated. Anytime you see these lines on the side, that means it's contaminated sounding. So I won't take that into account. I'm going to switch over to Supercell Composite for this run. See what it's given me. Wow, this site is lagging. Okay, so we'll go just before. So this is 1EZ, so this is 4 p.m. We'll go right in the Lansing here, right in the center of the state. Hopefully it's not contaminated. It is not. That's more of a C shape right there. Ignore this. That's more of a C shape. Yeah, the turning with height's there for sure. Not as great as we would like to see, but it's definitely there. Um, Pretty moist. It looks like there's a little bit of a capping inversion here. Don't like to see that for storm development, but I'm sure that'll erode as the day goes on. 52 knots of shear between 0 and 3 kilometers, and then 59. Not terrible. It's a little more of a downtrend than the other model, but not bad. Especially for anything in Michigan, we'll take it, honestly, if you're looking to see a tornado. But I want to see if there's any other places. So this is 22Z. So that's going to be 6 p.m. We'll go down by Jackson, where the supercell composite's at 10. Uh, that's way better. That's more of a C shape, like I was saying. That's more of a C shape. No cap, 1500 cape, very moist. No capping inversion. I really wish Pivotal had the lapse rate. I think this is the lapse rate, but I can't convert that. So can't tell you what the lapse rates are. The ceiling is very low on this. This is pretty much in the storm probably. I'm surprised this isn't contaminated, but you know, I mean, look at this turning with height. That's straight out of the south, and then as you go up, it's almost east northeast as you get up towards 6 kilometers. So that'll yeah, 69 knots of shear. That's pretty good. So again, I would not count out any part of the Lower Peninsula for tomorrow yet. Come morning time, we will see what the morning junk is doing with the squall line, and then we'll go from there. I'm curious to see what it looks like over towards Detroit, because I know there's probably some people watching in the Detroit area, and it's tough because of the lakes here. You can't really get a good sounding without it being squished by the lake. Not as much Cape, because obviously the sun's going down at that point. You don't have your peak solar radiation during the time of the day. So our greatest window probably right now will be before 6 p.m. and this as you get the sun to set, you lose that instability. You lose your lapse rates. Um, yeah, probably by 7 p.m. If the storms haven't gotten to you yet, they're gonna start downtrending. But again, you can't count it out. You kind of have to be on alert all day until about 9 or 10 p.m. at night. Then you can be good and go to bed. After that, there's really not a lot going on for weather. We're going to have a ridging pattern coming up here, which will bring somewhat warmer temperatures and no severe weather. So if you guys can make it through tomorrow, you guys will be good for at least another 10 days, 14 days before things maybe start to get a little bit more active again. Potentially further west, probably out Wisconsin, Minnesota area. Again, it's 14 days out. Things can change. Don't take my word for that. But again, that's really long term. We're just talking about the short term right now, which is tomorrow. And a lot of these models are in agreement that things will fire up in the afternoon, except for the HRRR, which is like, the holy grail of models. And well, for some people, I would like to say. I'm curious to see what the 02, because I haven't seen the 02 yet. I want to see what the reflectivity looks like for tomorrow before I kind of sign off. I'm actually going to go back and look at any questions. Um, Ice storm update for Eastern Upper Peninsula. I haven't really been looking into that. I will go real quick and look at the Marquette. Wow, it is Marquette. There we go. Let's see what the ice storm warning is calling for. Wow, yeah. Ice storm warning for tomorrow. Looks like snow and sleet accumulations of 2 inches and ice accumulations between 1/4 and 4/10 of an inch, several miles inland. And this is mainly for the eastern Upper Peninsula areas. So kind of where you cross the bridge, all of a sudden you get into the ice. I did notice that there actually is a winter weather advisory for a couple of the counties in the lower peninsula right by the bridge too. So you could be getting anywhere from severe storms, and then that cold front sweeps through. You could go from 65 degrees to 31 degrees just like that in about 2 hours time. So if you're in this little kind of leeway zone, I would definitely take this seriously. There's probably gonna be a lot of precipitation, so I would not rule out even 5/10 of an inch for parts of the UP. Elsewhere, you're gonna have that heavy snow that's kind of picking up over in the western part of the UP. Kind of sucks for this time of year, but I'm sure it's not out of the ordinary. I don't live up there. I haven't been up this time of the year, but I do know that they're gonna get snow all the way into maybe even late May. So they do say that travel is strongly discouraged. Um, Power outages could be, multi-day. I do not know if it's different from consumers up there. I don't know how quick they are to fix the power outages. So I would count at least if you do lose your power, maybe a day or two. So yeah, I would not be traveling anywhere in the Upper Peninsula tomorrow for sure. So hopefully that answers your question. Anywhere accumulations between 2/10 to 5/10 of an inch. So yeah. So kind of to recap, we have the HRRR is not really on board with supercells tomorrow, and neither is when I say the NAM NST. NAM NST is a little in the middle, and then you switch over to the Pivotal website, and you have the FV3 model and the NAM 3K model that say, we're going crazy tomorrow. So again, these models are still not in agreement, and we're 12 hours away. So you really want to keep alert tomorrow. You never know what could happen. It could be just a sunny day and enjoy your 70s, or it could be, raining all day, storming all day until 8 p.m. at night when the sun goes down, or it could be a little bit of both. So we're just going to say right now, you want to have your safety plans in action. Again, 10% hatch risk of 10% hatch risk of tornadoes is the main thing you want to keep in mind, other than the 30% hatch risk of hail and a 30% wind risk. So again, this is going to be more of a high tier event. No matter what happens, it's going to either be the hail, the wind, or the tornadoes, or a combination of all both. It depends on where you are. So I do not see any more questions. No problem, Joseph. I do not see any more questions, so I think I'm going to end the live stream here tonight. Um, I will switch over to our social media tab here real quick. You can follow, if you haven't already, follow Michigan Storm Chasers on Twitter and Facebook. We'll kind of have updates going tomorrow. You can also follow me on Facebook and Twitter. Those are posted right here above. Our Patreon is always an option. We are giving back to the community any of our proceeds in our Patreon. You can also visit our website at michiganstormchasers.com. There you can kind of read up on us as a group. We have 5 to 6 of us in the group right now. You can also donate through there. You can donate to the Red Cross. Um, you can also submit storm reports. You can submit storm reports directly on our website, and we will see them pretty quickly. So, um, you can also feel free to tag us on Facebook, Twitter, any of those social medias that I listed above. Um, my YouTube channel is also listed in the YouTube live here. It's just my name, Joel Fritsma. I'll probably be live either on that tomorrow or on this YouTube page. So you want to keep your post notifications on for us or for the National Weather Service. Again, those are just two ways to stay informed. We will try our best to get a live out tomorrow. No guarantees, but we'll see. So, again, thanks for watching tonight. This questionnaire. I'm gonna go check if there's any more questions. There's not. So, I will end it here. Thanks so much for watching. Stay safe tomorrow. Again, if you have any more questions past this live stream, you can reach out to us on Facebook and Twitter. So, have a good night, everybody. Wait, Peter says wait. Type quick. I already answered that question. Um, it can rain frogs if you have a tornado. Otherwise, no. You can't really condensate frogs into the atmosphere. It's not really possible. Something has to, lift up like wind or something. So like I said, a tornado. You were not, I don't know if you were here watching earlier, but yeah, it can't rain frogs. So hopefully that answers your question. No problem. Okay. I'm going to sign off for the night. Again, if you have any questions, let us know on Facebook, Twitter. No problem. Um, but yeah, stay safe tomorrow. We want to keep you informed as much as we can. Um, it may not be the best, but we're going to give it our best shot. So again, make sure to follow us, turn on post notifications, all that jazz, and we will keep you as informed as we possibly can. Half of us will be in the field, half of us will probably be, watching from home, keeping us updated on these socials. So have a good night, everybody, and stay safe.